Hi, welcome to CCTV, Channel 17, live at 525, the Preservation Burlington Show. Preservation Burlington is a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to preserve and protect the historic architecture and livability of Burlington through education and advocacy. Oh, there's our website. So both of those things we're going to be talking about tonight. I think, what do we have coming up? We were thinking about a cemetery tour?
A cemetery tour, November 2nd. Sing all
It
at
was
the same
depressing,
time
yeah,
to
exactly.
see all the buildings that have
I bought
have
his
gone.
book, Lost Burlington,
Yep.
and I haven't been able to read it. I just looked at a few pictures. I get sad and I put it away.
It's just
for right now.
incredible how much has been lost. Like, it really put it into perspective.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate what we do still have, though.
Yes.
So that's kind
and
of
makes me want to fight for them even more.
the upside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as education and advocacy, we have our friend Carolyn Bates with us tonight, who you've been taking photographs for our homes tour. You've been such a large part of the organization for so long, and you spoke at last year's annual meeting about your book project, and I think only the first book was out at that point, and now you've got all 3 volumes complete. Is that right?
That's right.
That's pretty fun. So how long, well, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for supporting my books and
They're
supporting the summer.
phenomenal. They're phenomenal. I have learned so much. Like, I didn't realize that there were enough murals for one book, let alone 3 in Burlington.
And there's still enough for a fourth, but
fourth book?
we decided to stop at 3.
Okay.
It's incredible how much public art there is in Burlington through the years, and I know that you've been participating in helping restore ones that are tagged or older ones, like the one on Pine Street near the electric department, and bring some of these back. And then just it seems every day there's more public art that that's not tagged. That's just really neat and adds to our quilt.
Yes, we have tons. So tell us, how did this project even start for you?
Oh, well, Facebook, because I love posting things on Facebook. And I think it was 2015, 16, I found a mural and I photographed it and put it up and said, anyone know anything about this? And it turned out that I forgot to put the GPS on it. So when I went to find it later,
Couldn't find it.
you couldn't find it.
It was?
It was 7 days mural apparently, and it was 2 people that look like they're part of what is it, Alice in Wonderland. And they're sitting at a table, and one of them's reading 7 days. And it had been repainted, actually. It had been repainted by Will Gebhard, who's also done the front cover of Volume 3.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know that. And interestingly enough, my very last mural that I photographed was right across the street, maybe 6 months ago. And we decided to put that in Volume 3 as well.
So the serendipity-ness, if that's a word, so you're posting things on Facebook as you see them, but you're stumbling on other stuff the whole time. Is that right?
Yes, and people would go, oh, well, you've got to go see my mural.
Yeah, so it starts to take off.
And then a little while later, on a cold November snowy day, 24 artists were hired by Burlington City Arts to take care of a wall it was putting around the pit. Remember that great big hole we had for several years, sort of like Newport? And they paid each artist $1,000 to paint something, and 2 of them were women with newborn babies that were feeding. But it was interesting. I sort of photographed that not knowing what I was doing with it. Just went around and probably went 3 or 4 times to photograph it. Sometimes the light wasn't right, or there was a car in front of it.
Right.
But all of them, but 2 of those 24 are in the book.
Oh, great.
Oh, cool. Because that's all gone now, right?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether the fence is down, and I don't know whether they kept the murals or not. Yeah. I know at one time they took them all down because they needed to do some construction, and one person's mural only got half of the mural put back.
Oh, okay.
What were they painted on?
They were given two pieces of 4x8 rotten plywood, put together, nailed onto the wall. Nails would come out, and they painted on them. One of them, Philip Goddenschweiger from Virgins, actually was really good at painting great big things and knew how to transfer great big things. A lot of people are just doing little things like this, and then they had to try to expand it.
Yeah, it's hard.
But he had this system that was really cool. He took a piece of paper and put the actual drawing on the actual size, so it was 8 by 8, and he put holes in it all over. So he tagged that up onto this plywood, and then he took a bag with chalk in it and went like this over all the holes.
Pounced it, yep.
Oh, is that what they call it?
Well, it's an old
That's
sign
right.
painter's
You're
technique.
in carpentry. Then he took it off, and then he knew exactly where to
lines.
put it. And he has this just fabulous mural where there's a great big huge champ coming in, sort of dressed like a building that's all kind of wiggly, and he's big hands tearing up Church Street. And he thought we were supposed to do something about Burlington, since these murals were in Burlington. It's been really fun with those people. One of them right now painted this beautiful painting of Lake Champlain at sunset.
Oh, wow, nice.
And now she's been traveling for 4 years. She's on Facebook, and she just travels with a van and a dog. And where she wants to stop, she just stops. And then she makes jewelry and sells it. And every once in a while, there's a little note on Facebook saying, "Need money."
Nomad. Right. Gas money.
So we all
tires.
pitch in for her gas money. So anyway,
Pretty
that's
cool.
where
And
I
she's
started.
from Burlington. Will she end up back here, do you think?
Yes. I think she's come back 2 or 3 times.
Oh, okay.
She's also visited her dad, who's down in, I think, the desert in New Mexico or California.
Okay.
So anyway.
So I see that you've got proceeds of this book sales are going to the people of Ukraine.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that and why you decided to do that.
Actually, the library, right, maybe 2 or 3 months after the war started, had a series of lectures on Saturday at the library. And because I had some photographs that they wanted, they asked me if I'd also come to the Ukraine talk and take photographs for them. And so I went to some of the other talks, and the one was the movie that won some major award. It was the first 22 days of Ukraine, and 2 journalists, I think they were both from Ukraine, but I could be wrong there, but they were really well-known, really good journalists, decided to go to the town that begins with M that's on the water.
Mariupol or something.
Yes, Mariupol or something.
Yeah.
And they got there before the war actually started. And their first pictures are probably of the Russians blowing up a truck. And they stayed there for those 22 or 23 days till it became completely not cool to stay there anymore.
Unlivable, yeah.
And they actually escaped, I think, with the Red Cross. But the movie was shown by the library, and it just, your heart just went out for every one of them.
As a photographer, especially,
Yeah,
you can-
it's just one. I used to do news, but I didn't do hardcore war. And also, our family is from Germany. I'm sure some of them, at least at some point, were in the German part of Ukraine. I mean, it just feels like that. For some reason, this war is much more
Very
personal.
close. Yeah.
It's just like right there.
Yeah.
So I started giving to various people who are working in Ukraine. They generally were people I knew or people who knew someone over there. But then I found out that there are 2 places here in Burlington. One is run by several of the businessmen in Burlington, and it's called Actions Beyond Words. Now that they've joined a group, I think, out of London, England. but they're all our local guys, and they have, you know, the sock people in there, and they have Burton snowboards.
Okay, yeah.
And so they're all contributing things that they make here and take over. And some of them came from Generator, and Generator made brand new things, better than the other things that we had out there, including those masks that they were recyclable.
Yep.
And they made them on their machines that they had been making their snowboards on.
Okay.
Then so that company was one, and then Magicians Without Borders is a group I've been sponsoring and working with forever.
Would you say Magicians Without Borders?
Yes. And Janet Fredericks was a friend of mine. We had studios together in the late 70s, early 80s. And now she is married to Tom Werner. And his magic shows, we've paid Media Factory to photograph one of the shows. It's about an hour long, and it's just really fun. And this guy will have 3 pieces of rope, you know, just like this. And he puts them in his hands, and he does that, and he's got 1 piece of rope.
I love
kids
magic.
just totally love it. We did a tour with you guys at April Cornell last summer, and he did a little demonstration.
Impromptu show. Yeah.
And just the kids were just having so much fun. I was too.
Speaking of tours, you did do a walking tour of some of the Burlington murals this summer, right?
That's right.
Was this the first tour that you had done, or was this?
No, I hadn't done any tours before in relationship to the murals, but I'd taken your tours and had more fun. I think we went 2 blocks in 2 hours to South Willard Street.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think it might have been 3 hours for
Yeah, we
County
try to
Street.
keep them an hour and a half, but they can really feel longer, especially downtown.
But in actuality, April Cornell, we went all the way around because that was easy. And then we went inside and we had the show. And April Cornell's got murals inside too.
Yeah, it's a festive building.
I was going to say that when I picked up this book and started leafing through, seeing some of those interior murals, it surprised me how many more murals there really are.
Right.
And they're great, like the one at Burlington Beer Company. I love. Well, there's more than
Isn't
one.
that
there, right?
fun?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so fun. So tell us about some of your favorites, or
Boy, yes, lots.
it's hard to pick, isn't it?
Well, this one I think is just one of my favorites because it was so unsuspected that we were going to have this mural.
So tell us the story. Where is it?
This is on Pine Street, and you know where the old Burlington Department of Public Works, that old rotten building that sort of leaks rain all the time?
Yep.
And that has a few artists working in
there, yeah.
When I was going to see one of the artists there, on the left-hand side, all the weeds and trees and bushes, so it really was hard to see, and it faces north, so you don't have any sunlight on it.
Right.
Was this mural? It said no parking, and I'm going,
Wow.
bingo. And a friend who was with me, we both said volume 3. Because we had tried about 6 other murals for the cover, and they just weren't working.
That's funny.
And here's this just incredibly simple mural
simple,
compared to
festive,
the
right.
others. I mean, these are just half of the mural. It's not all of the mural. And the same with this one. So, I mean, this one's a block long on Lakeside
Right.
Pharmacy.
The pharmacy.
And this is on the Turning Point, and you've got to read this story that
Tell us the story.
Tara Karov wrote about trying to paint this mural. You know those machines that you go up on and you paint?
The scissor lift.
Like the
Those lift
the
things,
scissor lift,
and
yeah.
you have to keep them level, or they get mad and
They beep, beep,
and they
beep.
scream at
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Well, she's on King Street, which is like skiing on an expert slope.
Yeah.
Like this. And the guy who rented her this machine gave her a 3-minute discussion on how to run it. So here she is with this thing, and she's trying to keep it level. And she's not succeeding too well. And finally, at 9 o'clock at night, she can't get the thing to turn
my
off.
goodness.
So Ann Rothwell, who's in the neighboring hood plant building, comes out, and for some reason, she thinks by taking the dipstick out of the engine, and she's spraying everyone with hot oil.
Oh, my
She
goodness.
thinks that'll help. And other neighbors come, and it finally ends up with Tara's getting so nervous, she takes the key and she drops it into the sewer.
Oh.
So needless to say, the police, the fire department, the water department, everyone.
Is she still at the top of this at this point?
No, at this point she's down on the ground.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Oh boy.
But she had to have quite a crew come and rescue her, including the whole neighborhood who had to come and watch.
Oh my gosh.
And she's really fun. Do read all of her stories. It's Tara Ariel Garreau, because she's got one over on Barrett and Chase Street that she calls River Animals. And on her way there, she apparently ran into a bear.
No, a real live bear?
A real live bear.
Chase Street.
And she's a little nervous. She's coming from, I think, St. Johnsbury. And she's a little nervous she might have killed it.
Oh.
So she has this whole dissertation about the bear and decides she should paint it in the mural so as at least in case
personified.
it's died, she has a memory of it. Oh, shoot, I have.
It's all good.
But,
So I noticed this book is really fat. It's a lot of pages, and you were telling us earlier that you had to actually cut some of the content out of it. How did you decide what stays and what goes?
Oh, yeah. Well, my mural designer, Victoria Collado, who's just this awesome woman, has done all of these books. And because I wasn't, didn't have good health at the time, she needed to put this together. I told her to please do it. And she just had a field day, because of all these artists that I had. She just kept putting them in and putting them in and putting them in.
Well, hard not to, I imagine.
She made a 350-page book or something that weighed over 3 pounds. I couldn't even lift
An old school telephone book of murals.
Right.
And so it was hard. Fortunately, there was one woman that wanted me to pay her $500 to have her mural in the book. Yeah, right. So that eliminated about 15 pages, but then from there I'm just saying, okay, these guys have been in 6 times, I guess we can take the 7th out, and then there were a few that I didn't feel had quite the quality that the rest had.
Yeah, sure.
Or in some cases, instead of 6 pages, I gave them 2 or 3 or 4.
How many muralists altogether do you think, roundabout?
Well, we can each open up a book and look at how many are in the page.
We have a friend on set.
Yeah, we've got a visitor.
Oh,
Hi, buddy.
great.
Hi, buddy.
Awesome.
We should maybe show, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
Oh, my friend Sarah Rosedal is in this
14,
one.
that's
That's a
30,
lot. It's 2 pages worth.
40, 45 in a book.
Wow.
Well, there's 161 pages in this one, so.
Yep.
Well, I don't, no, counts of the list of people. Here. See that page? And you
We're
Right,
doing math
2,
live
4, 6,
on air.
8, 10,
I'm a
12,
word person. I don't
14.
count. 1,
So
2.
about 14, 28, 30. So there's probably at least 35 in here.
Okay, and mine's 45 plus about 5 because there were a lot of people.
30-ish.
So well over 100.
Right, and as I said, there are at least another 20 that aren't in here.
Right. Volume 4.
That's volume 4, but I think we probably won't do that.
So
One of the things, though, that I am doing in murals, this one, I got to know a woman named Sarah Lee Terrett, and she had a business until just a little bit ago called Fuzz You Toys. And she even had Putin that you could buy and let your dog rip up.
Oh boy, yep.
So in one of these books, you'll see dogs and cats and what they're doing with her dolls.
Oh my goodness.
But she also was given permission, or she won actually the design for the state house that's in Waterbury. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's where all those new buildings and old buildings are kind of mixed together. And the main building, which is the furthest south in the center, had, I think there's something that the state of Vermont says every time you build a certain kind of building, you have to have an art in it, and it has to be 10% or something of something. And so she got permission to build and do this mural. And I just thought it was so cool that we're doing a whole separate, smaller book just on her and the mural.
Oh, cool.
And what it is, her name is Sarah Lee Tarrant, and she's out of Waterbury. And she just did some work. She did a lot of work in Waterbury
Wow, that's beautiful.
for the renovation of the town. And she's part of that renovation, and she lives there. And so what she did with this mural, when you walk in the building, it's 2 stories tall. She did 2 years of research on Waterbury and looked at all the people and all the buildings and found a few letters that had a few rather interesting comments about what they should do with these mentally ill patients and see that they didn't propagate more kids.
Oh, boy.
And she then hired professional wallpaper people, and they wallpapered that whole space professionally with the wallpaper made specifically for her of all these photos.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
The people in letters in the buildings.
So the whole history.
And then after that, she started to paint trees on top of it.
So is this a permanent
This is a permanent
installation?
installation. And I
fabulous.
felt that when people came, that they should have a book or something so that they could read about this mural
Yeah.
and really appreciate it.
Yep.
As we've gotten to do it, the more times we go and visit.
Yeah. So that's,
And it's just, you're here, you can see some of the people.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's ghostly, and you know, it's,
Very
it's-
powerful.
Well, let's see, do I have another page that shows them? Oh, and then here's some of
the
the
photos.
people and the
Yeah.
nurses.
Wow.
And in there, one of the patients wrote a poem called Green and Gold. So that's in here too, her
Read it.
poem.
You want to read it to us? Is it
That's
long?
really neat. So volume 4 is actually going to be very specific, and it's about this mural
see.
and this history.
I'm sorry, I just closed the page. Okay, Green and Gold. It's by a woman named Jean Killary, Killary, and it says birches. In the wind sway, fragile, white, and slender, with little leaves of antique gold. Birds fly from tree to tree, so you can't not tell where the birch leaves end and the finch's gold begins.
Nice.
And that's written in a plaque with the stairs so that you can see it. Anyway, it's
That's
just
pretty neat.
so that's my
That's
next.
a really
That's
great
what we're
story.
already working on, and we'll probably do one in Rutland with Kathy Weigers.
So I was going to say, like, big breath of relief. You can rest now, but it doesn't sound like you are. You're on the next.
Yeah, you've already got 2
projects.
things lined up.
Well, so we need to go to. I just went to the bookshop in Middlebury, and she's going to now carry my books along with several other. There are at least
nice.
10 bookstores all within Chittenden, and we don't go to just bookstores. We're at April Cornell.
Okay, yeah,
We're
of
at the
course.
Space Gallery. We're at Music and
The
Arts.
Space Gallery.
The Space Gallery is the gallery behind Konak Custom Brass.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're at Myers Bagels. That's where most people have seen my work.
Oh, fabulous.
Along
So-
with the Phoenix and the Eloquent Page, and the Flying Pig and I are going to get together and do a coloring book group in January.
Oh, fun. That's
So
fun.
we have
Fabulous.
coloring books there too, but they aren't mine. They're
So you're in the local bookstores. You have your own website where people can buy these, which is Carolyn's Gallery
store.
Store.com. Carolyn's Gallery Store.com.
Yeah.
And people can get them online if they're not local.
Or you can contact me through Preservation Burlington or
Facebook, probably.
yes,
Just search for
yes.
Carolyn
I'm in
Bates.
Facebook, or it's Carolyn. No, it's C Bates, B like boy, T like truck, at gmail.com.
Perfect. So
Yeah, they're really fun. Also, yes, we told about Ukraine. This one's 50. That one's 45. Oh no, I guess they're all 50 now. We decided
Okay,
the
it makes
same
it
price.
easier. Yeah.
$49.99.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, it said
$49.99.
$49.99. I was told it was better to do it that way.
That's right.
I don't know. And we take Venmo.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Perfect.
And these guys have been just absolutely super to, actually they were the first people to interview me and have me on shows and tell people about it.
I think
So-
these are great stories. You know, when I went to the Preservation Burlington event that we had last year, our annual awards, this opened up a whole new world to me. I didn't, you know, I've seen a few murals here and there and walking down Church Street, but I had no idea, that there were so many, that we are so rich with this beautiful art. I mean, and some of it's pretty controversial, right? And not everybody's going to like everything, but it's really thought-provoking. And then you had I could have listened to your stories for hours. You had a story for every one of them. And your capacity to remember names and events
I'm envious.
and which name goes with which mural, I was just blown away. I mean, and these are phenomenal part of Burlington history.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did hire professional interviewers, and so I would say half the artists were interviewed and written about professionally.
It shows.
A few of them wrote their own stories, and then others were collected sometimes online, but I talked to every single one of them except the one who's no longer alive.
No, right, right. No, you're
And we
forgiven
just
that
had a
then.
great time. But you know, it's how
get to
many
know all
years?
these people and these creative people and their processes and
Yeah.
what they
8
pull together.
years.
And they're such they're an important part of Burlington history that, you know, especially when the murals are painted over or removed,
Well, they're
taken
so
away.
transient in that
Yes.
respect. Most art, often
Impermanent.
art is, especially public art. You know,
Yeah.
you never know if the building's going to still be there, or like you said.
Well,
I mean,
you know, today I went to Noise Tire to get my tires changed, and we found out that the mural that we had there is gone.
oh, really? Already?
It's in a truck body and was filled with tires, and I guess now they have one of those containers. So the container sits there with all of the tires now, the dead tires, and someone comes along and moves the container and gives them a new one. So the one that they had before, that Anthill Collective had painted, isn't there anymore.
Let's see.
We have to upload.
But that just happened, like
Oh, boy.
a
Yep.
month or so ago. So we have
So
it.
if you
as-
want to see it, it's in the book.
It's documented.
It's
Great.
documented. It's on the map. Oh, and I do have maps so that you can have a map and go around and
and see them
self-
for
and
yourselves.
see them. We have one for Pine Street and we have one for downtown.
That's terrific. Well, I mean, really, like you said, at the annual meeting, and you were kind enough to step in because it was kind of wacky putting that show together, and you just filled the space. Everybody was so excited, and that was just with Volume 1. So now with 2 and 3, this is really terrific. So
Thank you.
thanks for all you do for Preservation Burlington, Carolyn. We really appreciate it and appreciate
Well, I'm
everything.
glad you're here.
Yeah,
We are too.
We can all do a hooray.
yeah, exactly. Hooray
Oh, and
us.
this is from April Cornell, everyone.
Okay.
She's in the first book, the
Yep.
first 10 pages.
And
She was, you
inside
asked me
and
my
out.
favorite muralist.
Which one's that?
It's April Cornell.
Oh, okay.
Because her
Yeah.
building is so happy.
So happy
Yes.
and festive.
And she did it on purpose
Yeah.
to make a happy building so when you drive into town, you have at least a few minutes of being happy.
Yeah, we need more of that. We sure do.
She's got butterflies to represent her sister. After I had photographed this particular photograph, you could see there are no window boxes on there.
Right.
Well, she's put window boxes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. She loves dressing
So it's
up
on
that whole
another
block.
page in this book, the window boxes.
Yeah, that building's made quite a transformation.
Oh,
since
it
she
used to
got
be a
it.
Cadillac Olds, I guess.
Yep, and then after that, it was Waterfront Video for a long time.
That's
Then it
right.
was going to be the multimodal center, and then that went.
Wow.
And then she stepped in.
I've
and
only ever known it as the
saved
April Cornell building,
Nope,
so.
it was
Wow.
everything.
Well, everyone should go there. You walk in and it's just love.
You can't miss it. I know. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Lisa. Thanks for helping me do this crazy show. And I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in to CCTV Live at 525, our Preservation Burlington show. For more information on anything we've talked about or Burlington history, our upcoming tours like the cemetery tour, and events, get a marker for your house or just go to preservationburlington.org and we'll see you again next month. Thanks, everybody.